Why 9mm are getting so popular? Hi folks, Bob from Fusion. Today we're going to go over the 9mm in the 1911 platform. Why is it getting so popular? We produced the 9mm in small bantam, which is a Defender model for carry. We have it in the Commander sizes. We have it in the 5-inch and all the way up to the 6-inch. It seems that as ammunition prices have climbed and people are just looking for more enjoyable recreational shooting, they're levitating to 9mm. Ammunition is much cheaper, recoil's much less in the defense category, lighter ammo to carry, smaller, more compact pistols such as the Bantam. All that levitates to why people are buying more and more 9mm. Really, the 1911 platform was designed around the 45 ACP, and since then it's gone all over. Now you can get massive array of pistol cartridges: 9mm, 9x23, 38 Super, 40 S&W, 10mm, 45 ACP, obviously, 460 Roland, 357 SIG, and quite a few other variants. All those things are in play now with the 1911, which years and years ago they weren't. It's pretty much 45 ACP, that's about it. Once in a while you'd see maybe a 38 Super or a 9 crop up, but most everything was 45 ACP. You know, there is some dynamic changes that you have to really address, okay, in the 9mm. There are parts changes, obviously, with the 9mm. You have a lighter bullet. You don't have as much momentum with that bullet shucking the slide back. The gun has to be built a certain way. Lighter recoil spring so it can actually rack the slide all the way back and eject the cartridge properly. Gripping is very important. You got to make sure you have a good firm grip on the gun. The 1911 is a recoil operated pistol. You can get short stroking of the slide because you're kind of limping it, or, you know, as you shoot, you're anticipating the recoil and kind of moving your arm back and forth while you're shooting. I've seen people do that, which will impede the operation of the slide. Now with a 45 ACP, you'll generally not have those issues because you got so much bullet mass and so much momentum with a 45 or a 10 that slide is moving regardless. Even if you limp it a little bit, generally you'll get away with it. Sometimes you'll have some feeding issues I've seen with people that happens with, but generally you'll get away with it. Now all those items, because you have a lighter cartridge, are going to become more critical in the 1911 platform, or pretty much any recoil platform with a 9mm. You're gonna really want to watch your ammunition, okay? You know, it's not too light, so it's not cycling. Your recoil spring. The biggest issues you find with the 9s, some people who are just starting out with a 9mm, they'll have real light loads, the gun's tight when they get it, and they'll have some feeding issues. The feeding issues generally are because the gun's not cycling. Somebody that might change a spring, anticipating recoil, very light ammo. What's happening is the slide, when it's on firing, is not going all the way back to back dead center to eject the cartridge properly and feed the next one in. So what's happening is, you know, you're short stroking the slide, and they'll be like, oh, I'm getting stovepipes. Oh, this is happening. Oh, the brass is getting caught here, you know, a clothesline. Well, it's never getting out of the gun properly because the slide itself is not coming back. There's some simple cures to that. One is your shooting technique. Watch your shooting technique. Pay attention to that, which is important regardless of really what caliber you're using. And the other is going to be the recoil spring, and the other is going to be your ammunition quality. Find people that'll load ammo themselves, load it way down because they want virtually no recoil just to, you know, have fun with the pistol. But then again, you have to use lighter springs to make sure that the slide is coming all the way back, ejecting the cartridge properly, and has enough momentum and everything to go back up forward and load the next shell. Just some things you want to look at with the 9mm. I think it's a great cartridge in the 1911 platform. Runs really well. It's just a little bit of different dynamics to the pistols. It's nothing to be afraid of. It's just something to look at, and if you have some type of issues, look at what's going on with your assembly, what type of ammo you're using, what type of spring you have in there for poundage. Generally, what I like to see in a 9mm start out, especially if it's a new fresh gun, it's quite tight. We're usually working with a 10 or a 12 pound spring maximum, okay? Because if you go much heavier than that, you're going to have short stroking. Now, some guys will want plus P ammunition. If you're running plus P ammunition, yeah, maybe you want to look at a heavier spring. Other items in a 9mm, people will send pistols in for us to rebuild for them and things. Shock buffs. You don't need shock buffs. I'm not a big believer of shock buffs in pretty much anything. Most of the time, if you have the proper springs in the gun, it's not really doing much for you, okay? In a 9mm, it's definitely a negative, the shock buff. So just one thing, I really don't like the shock buffs in a 9mm. If it impedes the slide or impedes the actual recoil system some, slows it down, then you're having issues again with ejection, or feeding and that type of thing. The 9mm is a beautiful round in the 1911 platform. It's something to really explore. A very good choice in the package of a 9mm. All right, guys, thank you very much. Have a great day, and we'll see you again at Fusion Firearms.